Madison Jackson assists. And your shooter from downtown, Leah Beatty. J&V Restaurant Supply, savor the difference.
Back for another episode, week two in the full here on Skyline Sports, joined by Mariluz Cook and Alex Eschelman, two of my favorite gals working in the media and Big Sky Conference. Mariluz does all sorts of digital media for the Big Sky Conference office, and Alex Eschelman reporting for SWX Montana Television in Bozeman and around the state of Montana. Ladies, it sounds like it's wedding season in your world. I know Alex just had a wedding last week. Mariluz, you just got a call right when we started the Zoom.
Literally right before. I almost didn't answer. Yeah, my best friend got engaged in Bali. How nice.
How nice. And Alex, you had a wedding last weekend too?
I did. My childhood best friend, we grew up in the same neighborhood. Her next door neighbor, or my next door neighbor, was her cousin and her aunt and her uncle. So her cousin was my childhood babysitter. So next to my own sister, that it was a very important wedding to be a part of, and it was beautiful. So yes, can't believe we're at that time in life. We're inching towards it. So
yeah.
Here we go.
It'll be crazy. You guys will realize that I'm most of my friends now are already married. So I had like the wedding season for like 5 years in a row, and then it goes away, and you're like, well, now I don't get to see all my friends all the time. It's so sad. But enjoy it while it lasts. So here's how this game works. We rotate who is the quote unquote fool, and that person is the one that is prompting the conversation. So that was me last week. This week it's Alex. So what do you got for us?
All right. Here is my first question, and we're going to start with upsets here, because last weekend we're going to talk a little college football. We saw App State, upset Texas A&M. We saw Marshall upset Notre Dame. I mean, huge. This week for the Big Sky Conference, this is our final week of non-conference play. Who do you think is going to upset one of the FBS schools in the conference, Colter?
Wow, that's a really good question. First of all, I must say, incredibly bold of you to wear a a Colorado University hat.
This one's for my sister, all right? And I'm not gonna lie, maybe I may or may not have had my hair ready for our 9 a.m. So okay. we just slapped a hat on it.
It's okay. I'm just laughing because one of our great contributors here at Skyline Sports, our lead Big Sky analyst, is Ty Gregorak, and he joins me on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast each week. And he is, I can't say at this exact moment proud, but he's a proud CU alum. But he was pretty salty about what happened with Colorado getting drilled by Air Force last week. But last week was a crazy week in college football for upsets. And I must say, I got to eat crow because on my daily ESPN show, I am frequently complaining about money games that are just completely disparate matchups where one school is trying to buy a win from another school, and you have this completely upside down, non-competitive game. We kind of saw it in Bozeman last week with Morehead State coming to town. I mean, the Bobcats really had no problem winning by 50, even though they don't even have any running backs. But last week, though, made me eat all the crow because, I mean, Notre Dame's trying to buy a win, not so fast. Marshall comes in there and smacks them. Right. Texas A&M's trying to buy a win, not so fast. App State comes down there, and now they're still partying in Boone, North Carolina. I mean, Nebraska got rolled up so bad by Georgia Southern, Scott Frost got fired. And you don't want to make a joke about a guy losing his job, but I mean, that's a bad loss by Nebraska. So, I think that this week, though, we've already seen, I think, 6 FCS upsets over FBS teams. A couple of them hard to even call upsets. I mean, when Incarnate Word goes and scores 55 points against Nevada, wow.
Right.
They're rolling. And when Weber State doesn't even give up a touchdown against Utah State defensively, that's pretty tough as well. I actually think that some of the best games this week involving Big Sky Conference teams don't necessarily have FBS opponents. I think probably the two best games this week are North Dakota coming to Flagstaff to play Northern Arizona, and Sac State going to Cedar Falls to play Northern Iowa. I think that Northern Arizona already getting a win over Sam Houston is big time. If Northern Arizona could win again, that'd be 2-1. They actually have the most favorable Big Sky schedule this year, so they could actually be an inside track to a playoff spot. I don't know if a lot of people thought that at NAU coming into the year, but Sac State, kind of a whatever win over Utah Tech where they gave up a lot of yards and a lot of points, but they did get it done. And then they didn't have a game last week, so I think it's a big litmus test for Sac State as well. And people forget, I mean, Sac State ran the table in the league last year, but they also lost to Northern Iowa last year. So I think it's a big prove-it game for Sacramento State as well.
Totally. I'm going to go with Colter on that one. Sacramento State and Northern Iowa. That was actually one of the games that we picked for FCS All-In as one of our games of the week. And so definitely, I think that that's one of the highlighted games really like in the entire FCS, but especially in the Big Sky Conference. Like Colter said, Sacramento State coming away with a loss last year to see how they're going to turn it around coming off of a bye week and then being on the road. It'll be interesting. Obviously, Sacramento State ranked higher than Northern Iowa, ranked in the top 10. I want to say nationally, off the top of my head. Colter, I'm sure, just can spew that out like nothing. So my bad if I'm wrong, but I know that they are nationally ranked for sure, whereas UNI is not at this point in the season. And so although, if they do win, it's not necessarily going to be an upset. I can definitely say that that's, to me, going to be the most exciting game that I'll be looking for in the Big Sky this week.
I love that, you guys, because as you know, I'm a Sacramento native. So let's go Hornets, Sacktown, baby, let's go. Okay. My pick is obviously, it's an obvious. I'm going to go Montana State upsetting Oregon State. It's going to be a tough task. As much as I am not a fan of Oregon State bias-wise, because obviously I'm an Arizona Wildcat and I'm rocking my Colorado hat for my sister. She's an alum. They're rolling. And it's always nice to see an underdog like Oregon State, who has struggled in previous years, to really come out strong. So I think it'll be an interesting matchup. Do you guys think it's possible for the Bobcats to pull off an upset on the road against the Beavers this weekend?
Well, I think that one of the main factors here could be that this game actually isn't in Corvallis. It's in Portland. And there's a big fan base of Montana State people and just people from Montana in Portland. I mean, as somebody that graduated from a Montana school, most of the kids that go to Montana colleges, they then find their way to either Denver, Seattle, or Portland. And so there's a ton of alumni around the Portland area. Portland's a relatively easy trip from Montana, so I think there'll be people here. I don't think that Montana State's going to have by any means some sort of home field advantage, but there will be more support here than a typical road game. I actually find this part somewhat ironic. The Cats don't really have any running backs right now. Lane Sumner is uncertain. Elijah Elliott, who's from Portland, maybe he gets an opportunity here. Garrett Kuhn looks like he's probably going to have to rise up, but no Kagan Williams, no Isaiah Fonse for sure, no Jared White for sure. But I don't think that Montana State would have been able to run the ball against Oregon State anyways. So maybe this actually just eliminates that, and they just say, hey, we're going to spread it out, and we're just going to try to throw it all over the place, and maybe they can get it going a little bit. You're right, though. Oregon State, they got it going right now. I think Jonathan Smith is the perfect fit. I mean, he is the extension of Dennis Erickson, who's a Montana State alum, who then led Oregon State to their greatest glory in the early 2000s. That's who Jonathan Smith played for there at Oregon State. And I think that he is the right fit. They've been looking for the right fit for quite some time. I think Oregon State's status right now in the current college football is utterly fascinating, because I don't think that they're going to be a huge draw to go to the Big Ten or the SEC, but they're still so much more prestigious and have so much more money than almost everybody else out on the West Coast. So what do?
Totally.
I think they need to figure out a way to, though, solidify that, and that they need to take care of business against these other Western teams. They've already beat Boise State. They already beat Fresno State. Can they prove that they're kind of the best in the West that's not the Pac-12 that's on the move? We'll see. But I don't know. I think it's so interesting, too, though, because, sure, Montana State's coming to Portland, and springing a Pac-12 upset would be huge. On the other hand, they got a conference opener in Cheney against Eastern Washington next week. They just got to get out of this one without getting banged up. So I don't know how you manage that. You definitely try to win the game, but you also don't want to get too torn and tattered before you play your conference opener next week.
Completely. How about you, Mariluz?
Alex, I really like to think that anything is possible. I think, especially when we look back to last year, and
that's why I love you.
Yes, I know. Colter, come on now. Let's let's hype these guys up. But when I look back to last season and all of the historic FBS wins that happened in the Big Sky, I want to see more of that. And we've got this week 3 to see it happen. And so I would certainly love to see it. I love the point that Colter made too, just about all of the Bobcat fans in Portland. And I think back to the FCS National Championship, being there in person, and also just seeing how well Bobcat fans travel, I think is so impressive. And so I think that the point that it is in Portland is definitely an interesting little piece there. And I just have been so impressed with what Coach Vegan has done with the program. And I really think if anyone's going to come away with an FBS win this week, I certainly think it is possible for the Bobcats. So we'll see.
And to both of your guys' points, you are right. I mean, Montana State fans, a lot of them are going to be in Portland so much so that Providence Park is sold out. That's 25,000 seats filled. I believe there's only standing room only available. So that's more than Bobcat Stadium. So, we get 22 or so thousand people at our game. So it's going to be a really exciting atmosphere. And hey, like you said, Mariluz, anything's possible. No running back group, whatever. Why not? We'll get creative, as Coach Vegan said.
Yeah, exactly.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Next, I know we only have a handful more minutes, but 2 quick ones. Second to last one is Montana State volleyball wrapping up their non-conference play here in Bozeman against some big opponents. We got Boise State, Washington coming to town, North Texas, I want to say, is their final one. Guys, I was so bad at volleyball. I just would like to say that. I was that kid that my parents would come, my sister would come to the games, and I would go to serve, and they'd be like, okay, she's got this. I'm like, oh, nope, she'll get the next one. No, I was that bad. So my question to you guys is, what was that one sport that you were so bad at that your parents and your sibling knew it, and they're like, we're just going to support her through this until he or she realizes that she truly is this bad and she shouldn't be playing this sport?
Oh, this is so good. Soccer for sure. Most kids play soccer first and foremost. I played soccer for 1/2 of a season and it was done. By the time I was 7, it's over for me. No soccer for this guy. I couldn't do it at all. No interest. I thought it was boring and way too much running. And I didn't even make it till like 2nd grade in soccer. It was over for me in soccer. Really.
Oh my God, Alex, what a great question. For me, so I have 2 that I just have to say. My brother has always been a very gifted athlete, and he was very into baseball. Shocker, as a kid, I was very chatty, so I was distracting my parents from actually watching their good child. And so they decided to enroll me in Little League Baseball, only girl on the team, foreshadowing, I guess, for the career that I ended up in, right? Where I'm talking. But anyway, was not very good at that, was always on the bench, but that's okay. Then fast forward to high school. My English teacher from my freshman year was the tennis coach. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try out for tennis. Like my sophomore year, he was such a great teacher. And my friends and I were all like, oh, let's go be with Mr. Brannon and try out for tennis. I don't know how, but I made the team and I was on varsity tennis sophomore year, junior year, senior year, never won a match. And my parents, God bless them, they'd come out, they'd support, and the heat in South Florida, never won a match. 3 years varsity tennis.
Amazing. Incredible. You know what? It's the pep in your step. It's the spirit that you bring to the team. That's why, I mean, and you're talented. Come on. You never want to match whatever. I mean, you win some, you lose.
I won none, but it's okay.
On another note, aside from sports here, it's National Double Cheeseburger Day.
Whoa.
And I need to know the best. What is your go-to place for a double cheeseburger and why? One place, if you could only pick one place for the rest of your life to get a double cheeseburger from.
Wow.
Where and
I got to go 2 because I'm going to get skewered by either Grizz or Bobcat people if I don't give you 1 each. If I was in Bozeman like you, I'm going to Burger Bob's downtown for sure. Love
shout
Burger
out Bob Fletcher.
Love the Fletchers. They do an awesome job. I love that in the ever-changing town of Bozeman, there's like nothing that stayed the same except that. The cannery and the Burger Bob's. It's the only place I go anymore because I'm like, it's the only place I feel like I'm actually at home and in Montana. And if I'm in Missoula, I gotta go to the Mo Club. Gotta go to the Missoula Club. See my guy Bo. They haven't changed or cleaned the griddle there in the Mo Club for probably 100 years, and that's what makes the burgers so delicious. They got all the flavors soaked in there, so I'm giving you 2. But thank you for letting me know that because this gives me an excuse. I'm definitely gonna have a double cheeseburger for lunch now.
You have to, and that's very French of the Mo Club because the French never clean their pots and pans just to keep the flavor. So interesting. I don't know. Mariluz, go.
That was a great tidbit, Alex. I'm going to sound so boring for this, but I'm really drawing a blank here. I'm gonna go Five Guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I feel like it's classic, it's easy, it's
nothing wrong with that.
It's quick. You get the peanuts when you walk in too to get you prepped, and the fries. I love their fries, and I feel like the fries are just as important as the double cheeseburger. And so I'm gonna go Five Guys double cheeseburger with sauteed onions and mushrooms.
Ooh, fancy.
Very nice.
A little something.
I'm gonna say, for me, I know I'm gonna get made fun of for this. I'm gonna go a double at McDonald's. I'm sorry, because you know what? When you're having there is nothing better than sitting in your car by yourself, molding over your feelings after a big night. I don't know, sitting there and just, molding everything over with a double and a small fry and a chocolate shake or a Dr. Pepper, depending on how you're feeling. So I'm going to go with the classic McDonald's. That is my mom's choice. I was raised on McDonald's. So there you go.
Love it.
All right, guys. Those are my questions for you. Those are my 2 and a full questions.
So good.
Two and a full. Mariluz Cook, Alex Eschelman join us each week here on Skyline Sports. Thanks for being here, ladies. This was awesome.
All right. Thanks, Colter. Thanks,
always a pleasure.
In a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.